Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the JP Football Podcast. I am back. That means so are we. So I haven't made a video in the past couple of days because honestly, there just hasn't been too much Everton news going around per se, which makes sense because we are still in the international break, which is going to be ending this week, though. And then next week, we'll be right back into the thick of it with Premier League football all around. But yeah, so again, there's not too much Everton news going on around. And as far as the international break goes, it's been cool to see all the different, countries competing for the World Cup qualifiers. And I'll be talking about one big incident that happened. If you don't already know about it, I'll be talking about one big incident. But other than that, I'm not going to be talking about too many of the teams because there's so many teams from so many different countries. It would literally take forever if I talked about all of them. But however, when the international break is done, I will be talking about at least one or two countries and how they're doing and how they're proceeding. But hey, so, and it could be any country. So right now, leave in the comments right now if there's a certain country you want me to talk about internationally and how they're doing and what I think of their players and how far I think they're going to go. Leave it in the comments now. So that way I'll have an idea of what to bring up when I do talk about the international break when it's over and what country specifically to talk about. Because again, I'm not going to be talking about all of them. There are just way too many to do that. But anyway, before we, jump into more of that kind of talk, let's talk about what's been going on at Everton the past, few days, like mainly with the players and whatnot. Again, not too much has happened. I think one of the things, though, a story, have it right here. A story came out from The Athletic a couple of days ago saying that Tom Davies was made available for a transfer this summer by Everton, but the midfielder preferred to stay and fight first place at the club. I don't think I mentioned this last video. I really don't think so. If I did, then oh well. But I don't think I mentioned this one. Well, Davis being made available, I'm not the I understand why, because he doesn't get as much game time. He's been with us for a little while now. He hasn't really broken through the first team. So I get why. But at the same time, I don't like that. It's like the Mason Holgate situation where, yeah, okay, these players may not be our best. They may not be our starters, but we need the squad depth. So it's much better to keep them coming on as a sub or coming on as a backup or starting the cup games or the odd game out, and plus Tom Davis, by the way. Okay. And I like that, Tom Davis said he prefers to stay and fight first place at Everton. Again, the sources being The Athletic. Look, Tom Davis is a boyhood blue. He's an Evertonian through and through. And, Tom Davis doesn't want to play for another club. If anything, out of a lot of the Everton players, I think Tom Davis is one of the few ones that actually has proven and showed that he wants to be at the club. He wants to stay and he wants to play for us and he wants to fight for us. Tom Davis loves this club. He's an Evertonian. He doesn't want to play for another club. And honestly, I don't want to sell him. Again, I know he's not our best midfielder at the moment with the likes of Alan and Jean-Philippe Gabin, or not Jean-Philippe, Decore, or maybe Jean-Philippe Gabin if he's actually up to his full fitness. But Tom Davis, he adds for the squad depth. And then I do like Tom Davis. I have a bit of a soft spot for him as a player. He wants to work hard for the Evertonians, and on his day he can be really, really good. Unfortunately, he hasn't necessarily shown as many good performances to officially break through the starting midfield, but I'm glad Tom Davis is staying. I like the lad a lot, and that's all I really have to say about it. Another thing here. So, according to Colombian journalist Pipe Sierra, Turkish side, I'm gonna butcher this pronunciation. I already know. Başakşehir, yeah, Turkish club side, they have made a loan bid to Everton for James Rodriguez, and apparently negotiations between both clubs are ongoing. No. Buy him or don't buy him. No loan. Again, I'm fine. I don't necessarily want it to happen, but I understand, and I'm fine with both with James Rodriguez at this point leaving Everton because it doesn't seem like again he necessarily wants to be here. And who knows if, and again, I know Rafa Benitez said he's not freezing him out of the plans, but he's not going to be, we shouldn't expect to see all too much of James Rodriguez regardless of what Rafa Benitez says or not, because cool, you're not freezing him out of the squad, I respect that, but how much game time is he going to get really, whether he's fit, so that happening. But making a loan bid for him, again, I know his wages are really high, and Basakashir is probably not going to want to pay that, definitely not, but loan, I don't see the benefit in that for Everton. Like what? James has got like what, one more year left on his contract or something like that, right? So, he's going to go on loan, come here with a year left, or maybe even almost expiring. And, we're not going to make as much money off of him. Not that, we can't make too much money off of him now, but we're not going to be able to as much on doing that and on loan. All right. Again, the only benefit I see is they'll pay some of his wages, but again, at the same time, James has big wages, so I don't really, I don't want to loan James Rodriguez out. You sell him, or we're gonna keep him definitively. But apparently, according to Pipe Sierra, both clubs are ongoing with the negotiations, so we'll just have to see, what happens initially. I personally, I don't see this happening. By the way, I really don't see this happening at all. I don't think James is gonna want to play for that Turkish side. I really don't. But again, I've been wrong before, as haven't we all? So again, we'll just see what happens with it. But I don't believe it's gonna fall through. Just paper talk at the moment for me. Moving on then. So speaking of internationals, well, World Cup qualifiers, former Everton reserves goalkeeper Jindrich Stanek, he made his first international debut for the Czech Republic last night, I believe, and their defeat to Belgium. Just a big round of applause to him. I hope he continues to excel. It's awesome to see a former player progressing, to an international level, especially when he was like our reserve goalkeeper. So again, congratulations to Jindrich, and wish him all for the best. Moving on then, this is the big one. This is the biggest thing I'm going to talk about today, for Everton wise. So Seamus Coleman, Republic of Ireland international, by the way. I believe he's their captain, starting right back as well. He has returned to USM Finch Farm today. So he's returned to Everton, but he's returning early from the qualifiers after he picked up a hamstring injury on international duty with Ireland. And you know what, guys, like this just goes to show what an absolute failure of a transfer window we've had when it comes to actually signing a right back and a player we go. I'm not saying our transfer window was a complete failure overall. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's a failure when it comes to actually getting a critical key position that we all needed, knew we needed. And now our starting right back, Seamus Coleman, is injured with a hamstring injury. And look, hamstring injuries can last for weeks. Sometimes if it's really bad, it can take like a month or two, especially if the player's, getting back to full fitness. This is not good. Not a good injury. And we don't know how long Seamus Coleman is going to be out for. This is pretty recent. We don't know how long he's been out for. But again, we don't really have a backup right back. And I know some of you, well, okay, we have John Joe Kenny. Big whoop, okay? John Joe Kenny is not that reliable, and he has shown nothing to me, and I don't think he's shown anything to Evertonian supporters in general of why we should trust him in a sense. I know he went on his loan move to Schalke, played Germany. Well, let me say this. We should trust John Joe because of the loan move he went on to Schalke, played in the top flight of the Bundesliga. So, we should be able to trust John Joe, but we don't, or at least I don't trust John Joe. So him coming on, below average, playing the right back position, a below average player. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we are screwed. We're screwed. We are screwed. That's the best way to put it. At least on our right-hand side, when teams look, where are we going to break Everton down today? Where are we going to attack? Oh, yeah, Kenny. Yep. pick him right there. That's the side they're going to be attacking on from the most because that's our weak link. And that, I mean, it's really unbelievable that we couldn't get a right back. Honest to God, it really is unbelievable. We couldn't get a right back. I just, it's frustrating. And look, who knows? Maybe John Joe Kenny will prove me wrong and he'll go on and make really good appearances. I doubt that. I sincerely doubt that will happen. And for others saying, well, we don't have to play John Joe. We could play Ben Godfrey at right back. I know some of you thinking that. We could play Ben Godfrey. What about Mason Holgate? Look, Mason Holgate actually might be worse than John Joe Kenny because I don't know what Mason Holgate can produce for us attacking wise. I honestly don't. And then defensively, he's been a bit shaky. And playing him out of position in a right back position, yeah, no. But then Ben Godfrey, I trust Ben Godfrey more than I trust John Joe Kenny and Mason Holgate at right back. And Ben Godfrey is a center back. He's not a right back. But in the meantime, who knows? Maybe Rafa will actually play him there because, again, Ben Godfrey, I think, is actually fine attacking wise. Sometimes he drives forward from the center back position, which is really cool to see. And obviously, he's one of our better defenders, good defensively. But again, Ben Godfrey is not a right back. So how well he'll actually do, who knows? All I know right now is I trust him a little bit more, though, than John Joe Kenny, who's an actual right back, which should say something about our right back situation. If you haven't heard from me speaking about, consistently already. But yeah, it sucks Coleman's injured. It really, really just sucks, and hopefully Seamus can come back healthy soon from this hamstring injury, although it may take a while. But that's honestly all I have to say about, the Everton side of things today. That's it. And yeah, but now I'm going to speak about the World Cup qualifiers because a big event happened this week with them. So if you didn't know or see it already, Argentina and Brazil were playing a match, World Cup qualifying match against each other, but it got suspended minutes into the match. Like they just stopped the game. Like health officials ran. Let me tell you guys. So it was suspended because 4 players on the Argentinian side were accused of breaking COVID travel protocols. Okay, again, health officials came on the pitch, escorting the Argentinian players away, several of them. And then apparently players in question made false statements upon arriving in Brazil, admitting that they'd been in the UK the past 14 days. Now, here's the thing. According to Brazilian COVID-19 regulations, any passenger who visited the UK 14 days before arriving cannot enter the country. And again, apparently 4 players on Argentina had lied about that, which, that's why the health officials came running on the pitch, stopping the match and all that. And by the way, the match has been suspended and we have no clue when the match is going to resume. I mean, it's a crazy world we live in. We still live in a pandemic, unfortunately. And I do believe we're still going to be living in this pandemic for at least, 2-3 more, 2 years, 2 years minimum. I said, and I know this channel is super recent, so a lot of you on here, may have not seen it, but when COVID first started, that whole thing first started, I said, and I thought, we're going to be in this for years, at least 3-4 years. And I stand by that, So again, that's what I'm saying. This is going to go on for at least 2 more years, guys. It really is. We're still going to be living in this pandemic, COVID-19 regulations for that long. It's become the new norm. So we just have to adjust and we just have to get with it. But yeah, so yeah, the Brazilian Health Regulatory Agency, which is called Anvisa, by the way, they asked for the deportation of Emiliano Martinez, Emiliano Buendia, Giovanni Lo Celso, and Christian Romero. All 4 of them, by the way, Premier League players, hence the whole UK 14 days. Makes sense. Emiliano Martinez and Buendia, they both play for Aston Villa, and Lo Celso and Romero, they both play for Tottenham Hotspur. They're good players for their clubs, good players for their countries. Well, yeah, for their countries, and wouldn't be there, right? Any Premier League player is pretty much, decently well for their country, or so it would seem. But these 4, I believe these 4 players I just said, they have returned to, I think they're either on, I know they're off the squad already. So they've either returned to England or they're returning to the UK. But then again, since they're returning, I think they have to take some they have to be isolated for, again, I don't know the exact regulations, but I'm pretty sure they're going to have to isolate for like a week or however long they have to isolate from returning from Brazil. But it's honestly a shame that, like, because if this is true, and it does seem to be true, because they got sent back to their country. Well, they got, not their country, right? But they got sent back to England. So it does seem true that they lied to enter Brazil. And like, it's a foolish thing to do. It's a stupid thing to do. It's a silly thing to do. Look, I get it. I get it. The world's biggest footballing event is next year, and you're just trying to help your country qualify. Look, I get why they lied. I get it. You know, you want to represent your, I get it. But at the same time, it's foolish things like this that are going to keep the pandemic going on. You know, I don't like it as much as the next person, but this can't happen. You know, this cannot happen. And by the way, it's a shame that they had to stop the match, because this should be taken care of before the match. You should be finding these things out before the match, not during, to suspend it. And again, who knows when the match will resume. But anyway, that was the biggest thing that happened World Cup qualifying wise. But here's the thing. Argentina and Brazil, honest to God, guys, it really doesn't matter how the outcome of this game is going to be determined once the suspension is released and the game's played, okay? Both of these teams, whether they lose or they win or they draw, are going to make the World Cup anyway, okay? They are. They're Argentina and freaking Brazil, all right? They're going to make the World Cup anyway. So, yeah, I mean, you know, players, I understand why they're upset, but once the match resumes, the suspension's uplifted, you know, they're going to get over it. It's going to blow over. Again, both these teams are going to make the World Cup anyway. So, yeah, you know, that's kind of that. But hopefully we don't see more of this. Hopefully this, you know, players, and I'm sure it's going to happen, but hopefully players won't lie, you know, about entering a country, no matter, you know, it just, no. I don't want to speak any more of it. And I think the next time players lied, there should be a big suspension, because as far as I'm concerned, I know these 4 players got sent back to the UK, all right, but there should be some sort of penalty or suspension for players outright lying about being a pandemic, as it seems, you know, that's what it seems of right now. But yeah, that's all I got to say. That's all the video is going to be for today, guys. Honestly, there's not too much more going on. But if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please subscribe. Give me a subscription. It really helps the channel out. Leave a like as well. You know, it really means the world to me. It really means a lot. And spread the news about the JP Football Podcast, you know, so that way we can get it growing, we can get it flowing. And, you know, it's just, you know, more subscribers. We're up to like 61, which is absolutely fantastic. You know, let's keep climbing that mountain. Let's keep getting more and more, you know, so we can get more people informed and more people, you know, we can hear more people's thoughts on these footballing matters as well. So again, I'll speak of at least 1 or 2 international teams once the break is over. But if there's a specific country, a specific team that you want me to talk about after internationals, please leave it in the comments below, and I will take heed and I will talk about that team when the time for the video comes around. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining, and until next time.